Well, thank you for joining us for our first media conference of the 2022 edition of the Land Rover Burghley Horse Trials. It is wonderful to be back, and we've got two wonderful riders with us, our first and second place riders, Piggy March with Vanir Kamira and Sarah Bullimore with COROQUET. I think perhaps a little bit of a round of applause for their performance today. Piggy, we'll start with you. Tilly being Vanir Kamira. It is now the fourth best Burghley dressage test. It looked amazing, and as ever you came off and said it wasn't as easy as it looked.
No, definitely not, and she never has been, but she has always tried and never let me down. But there's always a very fine line, as I've always said with her, of just getting the right side of it. And I felt at the beginning she got quite warm going around the edge, she was sneezing a bit, she pulled herself up for the first halt, and I thought, oh, I'm on that wrong side of the fine line, but kicked on out of the halt to trot on, and just, I think you get back in your zone of mentally just believing in your system, your training, and attacking it. And thankfully her brain and body came back to me, and it felt, I had a lot of brain ache when I got off at the end, because just the thinking, the thought process to every little thing with her. She's a very sensitive little mare, very hot and cold, so I was just relieved when it was finished, but more relieved that she got a personal best mark, which is what I've been really wanting from her this year. We all know she's 17, she's not a natural dressage horse, and over the last couple of years, but especially this year, she does feel like she has matured again, and for the first time ever there are moments that's very much self-carriage, which certainly wasn't as a younger horse or a horse starting at this level. And so, you know, I'm just delighted that she has been rewarded for some work that is very different to what it has been over the years. So I was just very, very proud of her.
You know, your prep run at Hartbury, you know, you absolutely blitzed it to come here, which is interesting on a 17-year-old horse, and obviously it felt good at the time, and it must feel good coming here now that has proven to be thus far the right thing to do.
Well, yes, I mean, she doesn't run very much at one-day events, and she doesn't really like them that much. I think she thinks she knows when she gets to Badminton and Burghley, she comes alive, she likes the people to be there for her. I think she finds one day's not that entertaining, and she's definitely a horse that feels if she does run, she needs a bit of the adrenaline rush and thinking that it's occasion, where she always used to, bless you. She normally used to go round for 30 time faults around a one-day event, but she kind of switches off now doing that, so she'll only run in 2 one-day events a year before a big one, and she gets her blood up and has a go. And it's not that often she'd be leading going into cross-country at those events as well, so you know, it's quite fun to enjoy her days at the minute while she's enjoying the sport, to have the moments, whatever they may be, however many she's got left.
Cool, let's stick with dressage, so we'll go on to Sarah. We'll maybe have a chat a little bit about your thoughts on cross-country as well, both of you. But Sarah, first of all, you were on 22.6, you were joint leader, and then you were on 22.5, you were leader in your own right. Just talk us through the emotions of those moments.
Well, it's been a little bit of a tricky week, and you know, I've not been in the best place coming here, obviously having a little injury myself, and yeah, it doesn't set you up for a great week. So yeah, I'm tough to bits with him. He helped me out, he looked after me, and obviously him being a homebred as well, it's amazingly special just to be up there. And you know, he can do a fantastic test, and even when it's not so good, you know, it's still good. But this year we perhaps haven't been quite on our A game. So yeah, he's pulled it out the bag today, and I suppose given me a little bit more confidence back in him. And so yeah, it's been chuffed a bit with him.
If you hadn't done your knee on Monday at Wellington, do you think it could have gone better, or do you know you walked away and went, do you know what, that's the best test we could have had, and I'm glad it's in the league?
I've been a little bit this year with him, we've been sort of a little bit at 60s and 70s. You know, we've done some great tests, but they just haven't been as good as they could be. You know, whereas last year confidence was all on a high and he was just putting it out of the bag. He came out this year very cocky, you know, and very arrogant, and I think he just felt I was a bit of a hindrance to him. And perhaps he realised today I was still a hindrance to him, but he ought to carry me because I was injured. I don't know. Perhaps he felt sorry for me.
And as I sort of asked you earlier, what did the next 24 hours look like for you? I mean, I was talking to Brett, and he says, you know, every hour the knee is getting better, pretty much.
Yes, it is getting a lot better. I mean, I couldn't walk up or down steps yesterday, and as long as they're not too big, I can manage that today. You know, certainly yesterday I couldn't have sat in the jumper saddle and gone short enough. So, you know, it is getting better and better. So I've just got to continue with seeing physio, and I mean, huge thanks to Ash Wallace, who's done an amazing job and, you know, helped me there. And yes, just the icing and anti-inflammatories, and you know, try and take the pressure off the knee as much as possible. But actually being here and probably not riding hundreds at home is actually the best thing in a way.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure most of you in the mix zone have asked about the cross country, so before I ask my one or two questions about that to get these two leading riders' thoughts, are there any questions from you guys on the dressage and the scores set today by Piggy and Sarah? No, great. Okay. No, not great, but you. Yeah.
That's great.
Sarah, you went and you've been a couple of times to Kentucky. You've seen Derek DeGrazzi's course. You saw it this spring at the Land Rover Kentucky 3-day event. What's your thought now on Derek sprinkling on top of familiar Burghley terrain here?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's done a really good job, and he's a very clever design with his lettering and with his routes and the use of terrain, and you know, it's definitely a Burghley track. You know, it's big and bold, and certainly early on it comes at you thick and fast. Yeah. But he's made us really think with our routes, and you know, people are going to have to be really careful that if they do, you know, have a bit, having decided to go the straight route, and then, you know, you fall on your nose and think, oh, I'm not sure I can get to that element. Be really careful that you don't end up jumping an element twice. You know, he's very, very clever with that.
And Piggy, you know, even with a slight change of flavour of the Burghley track over our familiarity with what Captain Mark Phillips has done for the last number of years here at Land Rover Burghley, you know, it must be very satisfying, very positive to be on a horse with such Burghley form as Vanir Kamira.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it does give you confidence to know that, you know, a horse can make the trip here, and but has dug deep plenty of times. So, you know, without doubt, that does help. It is there's a lot out there, as Sarah just said, the A, B, C, D, E, Fs everywhere. Obviously you need your rule book when you walk the course to know what you can and can't do, and so you spend quite a lot of time at each jump realising, you know, trying to figure all out, like we have to do. Cross country riding is about, if something goes wrong, of quickly going to plan B or C. So there might be a few unfortunate situations where you can't get it all quite right, which will be a shame. But he's been, you know, a lot of people have also said to me that they think it's very fair, it's very clear, it's very in front of you, and I think there are a few places that is quite sneaky and not totally in front of you and takes, you know, a lot of thought. But it is an amazing course. It is amazing to be back here. It's a proper Burghley, and I think we just all hope for a great day's sport on Saturday. Absolutely,
couldn't agree more. Let's not forget, in third place is our defending champion Pippa Funnel this year with Billy Walk On. We'll see her with Myers Hope tomorrow. But if there are no further questions, we will wrap up day one's media conference. And thanks so much. Our second place overnight, Piggy March, and our leader of the Land Rover Burghley Horse Trials, Sarah Bullimore.